Hi, book lovers, and welcome to La Rosa Reads. I'm Denise La Rosa, and today I will be sharing with all of you what I read in April. Let's do this. All right, here we are in May, but I must share with you all of the fabulous books that I read in April. I'm going to share with you 3 books in a row to count as one because they're the books that I'm reading for the BookTube Prize, and I'm not allowed at this point in time to share too many details about those books, so I'll just run through those really quick, and then after that I'll share with you the rest of the books that I read in the month of April. So I am tasked with reading 6 books for the quarterfinals of the BookTube Prize. I will be judging those 6 nonfiction reads, ranking them from number 1 being the most fabulous read out of the 6, all the way down to number 6, my least favorite. So I read 3 of the 6 books in the month of April, the first one being How the Word is Passed. The second book that I read for the BookTube Prize in the month of April is The Right to Sex. And the third book that I read for the BookTube Prize in the month of April is Smile. So those 3 books, along with the 3 other books that I'm judging, will be featured in my BookTube Prize vlog coming up in June. Until then, mom's the word. So when embarking upon this journey of starting a BookTube channel, my goal, actually my primary goal initially, was to get some freebies. I wanted some free books, you guys, and I am excited to say that I got my first ARC from Crown Publishing, and it is Bittersweet, How Sorrow and Longing Make Us Whole, written by Susan Cain. Shout out to Crown Publishing for gifting me with this ARC. I am truly grateful, and let's just say you made history here on La Rosa Reads. So Bittersweet is a book that I was very much looking forward to reading as soon as Olive over at A Book Olive mentioned it on her channel. I am so intrigued by the concept, the lived experience of bittersweetness. I really appreciated all that this book had to offer in helping us to be really introspective and appreciative of the bittersweetness of life. There's one quote that really grabbed me. There was something about it. It seems so simplistic yet profound. And that is, whatever pain you can't get rid of, make it your creative offering. And I oftentimes say that out of our pain comes our purpose. A dear friend of mine by the name of Tiffany Huff said that to me years and years ago. And I oftentimes use that quote to help me get through those bitter moments in life. So Susan Cain uses a lot of examples to back up her research, and one of the more fun, intriguing moments was whenever she was speaking with the producers of the wonderful Disney Pixar film Inside Out. That is a favorite here in the La Rosa household, and how it just so brilliantly captured all of those different big emotions that we feel and gave them personalities within themselves. And just really getting into the minds of psychologists, directors, producers, and other figures, other individuals who really have spent a lot of time thinking about what does it mean for us to live a life that is bittersweet. So I absolutely love this book. For me, it was one of those first nonfiction reads that I've read since graduating from the doctoral program that I had spoken about a while ago on La Rosa Reads. And so I'm so used to reading some hard-hitting, factual, research-based pieces. And so this one I felt was a little lighter, believe it or not, for me. And I had to really take a moment to appreciate all that it had to offer, that it was well-researched and definitely backed up the need for us to live a bittersweet life. I do feel like it was a bit redundant and gave many examples that were well-meaning and important, but I kind of got to a point where I was like, I get it. I get it, Susan Cain. I got you, love. However, I can appreciate that she was wanting to capture readers where they are. So for me, for example, the Inside Out moment was one that really resonated with me. But for another reader, maybe it was another example that she gave that would serve as the aha moment for another reader. So I can see and understand why she did that. And I absolutely loved and appreciated this book. Thank you again, Crown Publishing, for gifting me this ARC. The first book that I read in April was a collection of poetry that is called I Hope This Finds You Well by Kate Baer. I am new to the Kate Bear scene. I am not familiar with her first book that came out prior to this one. And so I can still, though, appreciate and enjoy this collection of poetry that came out of her breakout New York Times bestselling book that put her on the scene as a public figure. And from that experience came this like shock of being an online presence and all that that gives you. Yes, you're going to get wonderful praise and compliments, but you're also going to have a lot of trolls. And she brilliantly takes some of those troll correspondences and turns them into prose. It is fascinating. All right, so here's an example. So on the left-hand side, she always has that correspondence that she received from a not so kind person. And then on the opposite side, she has where she has taken words from that negative correspondence, that negative communication, and has rearranged it, repurposed it to send a message or a response to the troll. Unbelievably brilliant and very, like, it was just so witty and cunning, and it was like the perfect clapback. I just felt like giving her snaps and claps and all the things like, she told you. Oh, she told you. I bet you won't contact her anymore after that. But it wasn't all negative. Kate also takes some wonderful, inspiring, uplifting correspondences that she received from fans and followers of hers that really helped inspire her to keep on keeping on and keep on the path of inspiring people because it was truly working for many. So here's an example of this book at work. We have come a long way, but there are still so many ways women are identified and labeled by their relationship to other people. I say this as a pastor's wife. The married women who are pastors on our staff do not find, shockingly, that anyone calls their husbands pastors' husbands. A few years ago, I started telling our church that I don't like being called a pastor's wife. We are making baby steps. My whole life is some kind of experiment in melding feminism and faith. And Kate's response is, as a wife, my whole life is some kind of experiment in melding feminism and faith. So very witty, very entertaining, and inspiring. And then we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This was the book selection for my Radford University Alumni Virtual Book Club. I am so excited to say that I had an opportunity to not only communicate and vibe with my fellow alumni and reader friends on Facebook. At the end of the month, we did a wrap up and a wonderful book chat via Zoom, and it was truly delightful. It was so exciting to be around so many alumni and just know that we have book loving and book reading in common. This book is very interesting. It's a young adult novel, and we have Pip, who is doing this capstone final project for her senior year, and she really gets into it deep. She is taking a murder that took place in her hometown and trying to uncover and solve it because she does not believe that the young man who was accused of committing this murder of his girlfriend, this young man by the name of Sal, was the one who truly committed the crime. This takes Pip and Sal's brother, Ravi, on this journey of investigation, this journey that really becomes bigger than a capstone project and actually puts their lives in danger. Does she solve the crime? I'm not telling you. You better pick up this book and find out yourself. Jasmine Guillory, I love you, boo. And I am so thankful that you wrote book 2 in the Wedding Date series called The Proposal. Carlos is a character from the first book in the Wedding Date series that I found to be very endearing, very fun-loving, just such a good guy. He was just a good dude, right? And so now in this book, The Proposal, he has his own love story. He was there hanging with his best friend Drew, going through that whole thing as Drew was falling in love with the main female character in The Wedding Date. And now he is at a baseball game with his sister Angela. And this woman here by the name of Nicole is also at that game. And her boyfriend of 5 months surprisingly proposes to her. And she's like, no, thank you. I don't know where this is coming from, but she does this on the Jumbotron in front of thousands of people. It becomes this thing on social media that blows up. Carlos captures her to try to whisk her away from the media at the game, pretending to know her when he really truly didn't, and then sparks fly. I spoke about this book on my video, What the La Rosa Girls Are Reading, in April. My daughters were quite fun and funny to share this book with. They had a wonderful interpretation and reaction to all the things that I was telling them about this book. I encourage you to check out that video. We will put it in the cards for you and also in the description box so that you can check it out. I spill a little more tea about the proposal there. All in all, Jasmine Guillory, she came through as always. She knew the assignment and she delivered. And finally, we have the last book that I'm going to share with you that I read in April, which is Better Together. This book is written by Christine Riccio. I did not know anything about this booktuber, and that makes me feel a little lame because apparently she is infamous in the booktube world. You guys, I just threw myself into the booktube community. I am just now getting to know some of the big stars and key players, and so please don't judge me for the fact that I had no idea who this author was before picking up this book. So I bought this book on a whim. The cover really caught my attention, the whole premise of there being two sisters. We have Suri here and Jamie on the back. And these are two sisters who were separated at such a young age that the youngest sister, Suri, doesn't even really know if Jamie was just a figment of her imagination or an actual person that existed in the world. Needless to say, these two find each other by a sheer coincidence, it seems, at a retreat because they're both kind of going through some things and they're sent away on this retreat by their parents. Suri lives with mom. Jamie lives with dad on the opposite end of the country in California. Suri's in New Jersey. And their parents have just decided we're going to live separate lives and we're going to keep each of us are going to keep a daughter and we're going to keep them away from each other. The book is definitely far-fetched, and I was a little curious about what people thought of this book, so I went on Goodreads and was checking out some reviews, and they were awful. They were so bad. And then I was also finding where people were like, come on, you guys, you're being so cruel because of who the author is. You don't believe in booktubers becoming authors. So I tried to put those reviews out of my mind as I was reading this book. Look, to me, this book did everything it set out to do. I was not taking this as a serious literary work. I just wanted to be entertained, and I feel like the book did just that. All in all, it was an okay book. I wouldn't say it was terrible. I wouldn't say it was phenomenal, but it definitely did what I wanted it to do, and that was entertain me. So it ends well. I love that it had a clear, clean-cut ending, and I knew what happened with all of the characters and how they move on with life, and I just think it's delightful. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think you should read it. All right, here are our books, friends. I think it was all in all a very fun reading month. What was your reading month in April like? Let me know in the comments below, and also be sure to check out this video up here. I would love to hang out with you. Let's talk books together. And until next time, happy reading. Peace.